It's a brand new season of Halo the series, and we've got all the intel you could possibly want. I'm talking to the Master Chief himself, Pablo Schreiber. We're going behind the scenes to check out some wicked props and learn the secrets of creating one of the most intense scenes in this episode. A season premiere edition of Halo the series Declassified starts now. What's up, Spartans? I'm Sydnee Goodman, and I am so excited to be back here hosting Halo the series Declassified. As a lifelong Halo fan, being able to talk about the show like this is a dream come true.
Try to stay focused on the mission.
This week, I'm thrilled to be hosting the Master Chief himself, Pablo Schreiber, for a very special interview. Plus, a little later, I'll check out some of the amazing additions to Season 2 of Halo the series. Of course, like always, we'll be digging deep into this week's episode of Halo the series, so spoilers abound. If you haven't seen the first episode of Season 2 yet, what are you waiting for? Watch it and then back here for all the deets. But before we get to all that, let's talk about that Season 2 premiere. That was one of the most action-packed episodes of television I have ever seen. I don't think you could cram any more into it if you tried. Of course, the battle on Sanctuary is the showstopper of the episode. And we thought you all would like to see everything that went into making that epic sequence, well, epic. Check it out.
It's a new planet. It's not something that we'd seen before in the previous season. It's the opener for our story.
The Covenant War has gotten dire and is sort of getting nearer and nearer to where our characters are. And our Spartans, we actually find out on a planet away from the conflict.
We see Silver Team on this mission on Sanctuary, which is kind of a low-risk mission, it seems at first. And we learned that the reason that their strategic parameters have changed, and that is the ONI, led by James Ackerson, has kind of taken the reins.
Keeping the enemy engaged in the outer colonies is the mission. We keep the fight out there, we have peace here, people feel safe.
The outer colonies in our story are being slowly picked off by the Covenant. This community is being forced to leave by basically our Spartans. It was important to dive deep into who this community is and look at how they live and how they have lived for over 40 years, having already been displaced through war.
The people from Sanctuary were basically sent out to one area, almost with like a kind of a kit that they got sent to the planet with. Everything with them was like a red kind of fabric, leather and canvas. They also had a language that they would use, a lot of symbolism.
I think what was important about the set was to feel the impact of this impending alien force, and the viewer can empathise with the fact that these people are in great danger. That as a footing for the season was very important.
No, I'm here because I believe in you, and I believe in this program.
That was so sick, and who better to talk about Sanctuary than the Master Chief himself, Pablo Schreiber. Hi, Pablo. I am so happy you're here. We have a lot to talk about.
I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
What kind of prep did you have to do to get ready to put the armor back on for Season 2?
Oh, it was amazing. You know, it's obviously this role is such an honor for me to get to carry. From the very beginning, it was really clear how important it was to so many people. So getting back in the suit, coming back to set, you know, we had a 3-4 month prep period. Obviously for production, but also with my trainer. Prepping physically, obviously one of my main challenges is holding enough weight, muscle weight, while we're shooting the season, because you're in the suit, you're sweating like crazy, working 10, 12 hours a day, and where do you find the time to also go to the gym and train? So yeah. That's one of my challenges, is being able to keep on the muscle that I put on before each season.
I hear from some of your castmates that you really go out of your way to make people feel included, especially when they're such a long way from home. So what's it like being on location for months on end, often away from family? And what are some ways that the cast kind of bonded over the shared experience of being on location?
It's hard on families. It's hard on your psyche. So the more that you can make it a communal experience, the more you can share experiences, I think the easier it is on everybody. Mm-hmm. I just, I'm a firm believer in having a vibe on set that feels good, where people can come to work and everybody from the top to the bottom can do their best work, has room and a positive environment to do their best work. Because that's what you want. You want everybody to be able to come and put their A game out, whatever that is, For that, there's all kinds of things. I like to bring music on set. I like to keep the vibe up with having music around. We had pretty notorious Saturdays. There wasn't a lot of time for, fun and going out or anything like that during the week because the hours are so long. But we really, really made an effort to make sure that every Saturday we got out and had some fun, and it was usually karaoke. We had a fun little karaoke joint right next door to one of the places where all the cast live, and we were notorious for staying up till about 5 a.m. and singing our hearts out.
So let's talk about Master Chief's relationships with his fellow Spartans as we kick off season 2, because things aren't necessarily like peachy keen.
There's a lot of tension there, isn't there?
Yeah.
What's wrong with everybody?
A little bit of tension.
Yeah. They clearly, things have not. Everybody's not happy. There's not a lot of brotherly love between the crew right now.
Not going to karaoke.
They're not going to karaoke clearly on this Saturday. There's just a lot of unpredictability right now, and people don't really know what's happening and where it's heading, and it tends to make people question the people in authority. So all the Spartans are looking at Chief, asking what the hell's going on, and he doesn't really know what to tell them.
For any normal human, uncertainty's difficult, to say the least. And then as we begin the season, Master Chief has pretty much lost his entire support system. Cortana, Dr. Halsey, Boss. So that's a lot to deal with, especially because he's now new to the whole emotions thing with removing his pellet recently. So how does he take care of himself? How does he come up with even close to kind of that, okay, everyone's looking at me? How's he managing his composure?
He seems to be a bit of a man on an island at the beginning of the season, and it only gets worse, in the next few episodes. As the season goes on, he gets more and more isolated. So I think to answer your question, how does he feel good about himself, or how does he keep his center in that kind of situation? I think it's belief in self. And the further everyone else gets away from him, and the more people question him, thinking, is he actually going a little bit crazy? That's the part that provides the drama, rather than it being him. Like, he gets more and more clear that his take is right, but everyone else is getting further and further away from him at the time.
What can fans look forward to in season 2?
So much. There are a number of really, really wonderful moments from the lore that get touched on in their own unique ways in this season, and I think a lot of fans will be quite excited to see these things be touched upon. We have a new showrunner named David Weiner, who's a fantastic writer, and he brought a really, really talented team of people with him. The art department is just top notch, and the looks of all the visuals of the entire show are so high end. So starting to see that stuff come together during prep was also quite a pleasure.
Amazing. Well, Pablo, thank you so much for coming by to Declassified. It was awesome to talk.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Season 2, my favorite scene is when Vanek is stuck on this hill with Kai.
Did you take your pellet out?
What are you talking about? And it's the first time we see Vanek, the human side of him, right? Like, the pellets come out.
Do you feel any different?
No. And he's trying to talk about the fact that he watches documentaries, right?
I watch programs sometimes.
Programs?
Like about animals and stuff.
And Kai has no interest in what he's saying. You right? And she's like, oh, okay. Wow.
Oh.
Don't do that.
And he needs to tell somebody about this thing that, he's kind of makes him ashamed, sort of, a little bit, but he has to tell her. So for me, that was my favorite scene.
That was amazing. And you know what else is amazing? How much bigger and better everything is in Halo the Series Season 2, especially the props. Check out this behind-the-scenes look at how this season's impressive props were made.
When we started season 2, we basically decided to redo all of the weapons. there needed to be a lot more detail. For example, then we developed the Season 2 Master Chief Assault Rifle. This assault rifle was based mainly on the assault rifle from Halo Infinite, and we decided to make it as close to a real weapon as possible with as many functions as we could do. We have a countdown timer for the amount of rounds that Master Chief has. We've got the selection switch, so we can do single shot, semi-auto and full auto fire. There is a practical torch on the front. We've got muzzle flash, which comes out of the front of the weapon. And if you look at the Season 2 sniper rifle, so basically we've got the barrel machined out of aluminium, so you've got all of this kind of detail in the barrel. Some of these parts are out of aluminium. Once again, you've got your magazine that can be replaced. We've got a practical sight, the cocking of the weapon. So there was a lot more detail put into these. So we've got the new needler, which is this baby. So we redesigned the needler, leaning towards more of the Infinite designs. So it's all this kind of fine detail that makes it a really good prop. I think Season 2 was a lot more difficult than Season 1. It was very, very intense. Things were on a much bigger scale. The good thing and the lucky thing about the props department is we've been working together since Season 1. I'm standing here talking about all these amazing props, but it took a whole team of people to get everything that you see on this table together. And I think that's the most important thing. It's a collaboration with your team and basically everybody's enthusiasm and joy to see like an amazing prop when it's done.
My name is Joseph Morgan, and I play James Ackerson.
Who is he?
He's the boss. Mr. Ackerson is Dr. Halsey's replacement.
Ackerson is such an interesting character for us in Season 2.
So Ackerson comes into Season 2 at the top of the food chain, and he shakes everything up. He makes sure everybody knows that he's in charge.
We will turn this around, I assure you.
Ackerson is one of the higher-ups in an organization called ONI.
What does that mean?
The ONI is the Office of Naval Intelligence.
The ONI is running the show. And I am the ONI.
The Office of Naval Intelligence is where a lot of top secret stuff is done, a lot of clandestine operations.
ONI will conduct intel analysis.
We don't need ONI to tell us what we saw.
There's a bit of a mistrust between the Spartans and ONI in general, particularly this character of Ackerson who comes along because he sort of inserts himself into their lives in a way.
Have a seat, John.
He can be your best friend 1 minute,
Each of them remarkable warriors.
and your worst enemy the next minute.
At the end of the day, he's just a guy in a suit.
And nobody knows where they stand. He's like a puppeteer, he's a manipulator. So he's always trying to find his way in, find the right tact to deal with each person. And then when that doesn't work, he switches it up.
So he's basically their new boss, and there's a tension there that becomes more and more pronounced as the season goes on.
I never thought I'd miss Halsey.
Yeah, I think Ackerson views the Spartans as tools, as weapons, and certainly as people second.
Those Spartans never die.
Thanks for being here as we launch Halo the Series' second season. I had such a good time chatting with Pablo Schreiber today, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And I'll see you next time on Halo the Series Declassified.
We're on our own. Command thinks it's untouchable. They haven't seen what we've seen.
Everything they do has meaning. The Covenant is here.
They have Cortana. John ik Eoni.
The enemy is at our gates. Any Marine who makes this stand with us will not survive the day. But you will not make that stand alone.
Light him up!
It's a tragedy.
Did you know?
This day was inevitable. I need to know that you're with me.
Tell me what to do.
Make them Spartans.
Spartans! Spartans!
How did you choose me? Tell the truth. Just once.
That man saw something in a spark.
Why do you fight, John?
To win. To defend our home. To preserve humanity.
No. You fight because you are a soldier.